Good day everyone, especially to Dr. Claire Makabalang ma'am. So it is another day and another learning to be acquired because today I will discuss to you the disadvantages of trait theory of leadership. As we all know that the trait theory of leadership received a massive dose of criticism as well. However, these accusations were quite reasonable because this theory is straightforward, but it still fails to produce clear-cut results. So these are the disadvantages of the trait theory of leadership. First, lack of consistency. The trait theory lacks consistency in identifying universal traits that are definitive of effective leadership, as traits considered important in one situation may not be as relevant in another. So it assumes that there are certain traits that are essentials for effective leadership, regardless of the situation. However, this is not realistic as different situations may require different traits or behaviors from other leaders. I have an example. A leader who is decisive and assertive may be effective in a crisis but may be ineffective in collaborative settings. Therefore, the trait theory is inconsistent in its identification of universal features that are indisputable of effective leadership, since traits are considered important in one context may not be in another. Next, neglect of situational factors. This theory overlooks the influence of situational and contextual factors on leadership effectiveness, failing to account for the dynamic nature of leadership within different environments and scenarios. So this means that the trait theory does not consider how the leader's behavior and performance may vary depending on the characteristics of the followers, the goals, the organization, and of course, the external environment. For example, a leader who is confident and dominant may be effective in a competitive and uncertain situation, but may be ineffective in a cooperative and stable one. So, fourth, the trait theory neglects the importance of adapting one's leadership style to the specific situation and context. Next is ignoring skills and behavior. It tends to neglect the significance of leadership skills and behaviors, focusing solely on personal traits and thereby undermining the importance of learned competencies and adaptive leadership styles. This means that the trait theory does not consider how leaders can acquire, develop, and apply the various skills and behaviors that are relevant and effective for different situations and challenges. For example, a leader who has a natural talent for communication may not necessarily have the skills to negotiate, to resolve conflicts, or delegate tasks. Similarly, a leader who has a fixed personality may not be able to adapt their leadership style to suit the needs and preferences of their followers or the demands and opportunities of their environment. So, ibig sabihin, this trait theory neglects the role of skills and behaviors in enhancing and complementing the traits of a leader. Next is that limited predictive validity. Research has shown limited predictive validity of specific traits in determining leadership success, suggesting that the presence of certain traits does not guarantee effective leadership or organizational outcomes, meaning that it cannot reliably predict who will be a successful leader based on their traits alone. So accordingly, it has shown in the research that there is no clear and consistent relationship between specific traits and leadership effectiveness, as different traits may have different effects depending on the situation. depending on the followers, the goals, and the measures of their success. For example, a leader who is intelligent and confident may not necessarily achieve better results than a leader who is less intelligent and confident, depending on how they use their traits and how they are perceived by others. So, therefore, the trait theory of leadership cannot guarantee effective leadership or organizational outcomes based on the presence of certain traits, as there are many other factors that can influence leadership performance. Next is lack of empirical consistency. The trait theory has faced challenges in consistently demonstrating empirical evidence supporting the idea that specific traits are universally linked to successful leadership across diverse contexts and culture, meaning that it cannot provide reliable and conclusive evidence to support the idea that specific traits are universally linked to successful leadership across diverse contexts and culture. Another thing is, trait theory of leadership is based on weak and inconsistent findings, as different studies have used different methods, measures, samples, and criteria to examine the relationship between traits and leadership. For example, some studies have used self-reports of personality, while others have used observer ratings or objective tests. Some studies have focused on leader emergence, while others have focused on leader effectiveness or performance. So, as a result, the trait theory of leadership is enabled to assert that it provides a comprehensive and reliable explanation of leadership, since it has a difficulty producing consistent empirical data to back up its central premise. Next, oversimplification of leadership. By oversimplifying the complexity of leadership to a set of individual traits, this theory fails to acknowledge the multifaceted nature of leadership, which encompasses a wide range of skills, behavior, and situational dynamics. Meaning that it reduces the complexity of leadership to a set of individual traits, behaviors, and, of course, the situational dynamics. This means that the trait theory of leadership does not capture the full essence and scope of leadership, as it does not consider how leaders interact with their followers, with their tasks, with their organization, and, yes, of course, their environment. For example, a leader who has a certain trait may not be able to use it effectively if they lack the skills to communicate, motivate, or inspire others. Similarly, a leader who has a certain trait may not be able to adapt it to different situations, challenges, or opportunities that arise in their context. So therefore, the theory fails to acknowledge the multifaceted nature of leadership, which requires a combination of traits, skills, behaviors, and situational awareness. Last one is that bias and stereotyping. There is a risk of bias and stereotyping associated with the trait theory, potentially overlooking the leadership potential of individuals who do not fit the traditional trait profile. This means that it may favor or discriminate certain individuals based on their traits, potentially overlooking the leadership potential of those who do not fit the traditional trait profile. This means that the trait theory of leadership may be influenced by subjective and cultural assumptions about what traits are desirable or undesirable for leaders, and may ignore the diversity and uniqueness of individuals who have different backgrounds, different experiences, and perspective in life. For example, the trait theory of leadership may favor individuals who have traits that are similar to masculine stereotypes such as self-confidence, assertiveness, and risk-taking, and may overlook individuals who have the traits that are similar to feminine stereotypes, such as empathy, collaboration, and nurturing. Therefore, the trait theory of leadership may create bias in stereotyping, which can limit the diversity and conclusion of leadership and reduce the effectiveness and innovation of leadership. So that's all for my report about the disadvantages of the trait theory of leadership, and I hope you learned something from my report. Good day and maraming salamat po.